Hey everybody, this is Paul Teal with Party Till You Pop. I've gotten a lot of requests lately for folks wanting me to show them how to make the balloon snowflakes that I make. And so I thought I'd do a quick tutorial here on Facebook and Periscope on how to make them. These are really popular because it's Christmas time, but since the Elsa movies have come out, I end up making them year-round. You'll end up doing Elsa parties all the time, things like that, and you'll get requests for snowflakes. And so they come in handy all the time. If you are another balloon artist and you have put out a balloon DVD or something like that before this video was published, and you have some very similar design or something like that up, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to take this down. I'm not looking to take away anybody's livelihood or anything like that. So if you've got a balloon DVD out and there's a snowflake like this in there, just let me know and I'll be happy to take it down. If you're watching this on YouTube, then in reality what you're watching is a replay. When I do a live broadcast, a lot of times I'll post the videos back up on YouTube. And so if that's where you're watching it, you're seeing a replay of the recording of the live broadcast. So guys, don't judge me as harshly as you would, say, a professional balloon art DVD. I mean, those are professionally produced, and this is all just done with one take. So before we get started, a lot of the folks who are asking me how to make balloon snowflakes are decorators, not just entertainers. And so if the twisters will bear with me for a minute, I just want to go over a little bit of twisting basics that you'll need to know in order to be able to do this. It's not a lot, but it's something that some decorators may not know how to do. So this is a twisting balloon. This is called a 360. There's two 60s as well. The first number is the width, and then the remaining two digits are the length of the thing. I want to show you a basic on the twisting. So if I grab this balloon like this, and I reach around and I grab this balloon right here, and I twist it, I get this little twist in the balloon right here. You see that? But if I let go of that, it just pops back out. It's actually spinning and just becoming straight again. See? I've got a twist, but there's nothing to hold it in place. If I let go, it pops right back out again. So let me show you this. If I do one twist, I'm grabbing it and I'm twisting it like this. I'm exaggerating what I'm doing here, but you see that? I create this twist. I can hold that in my hand like that, and it's not coming untwisted because I'm holding both sides of it. Then I can take and put this in my armpit, or I can hang on to it very carefully. But if I take, I'm holding it with my body here, and I put another twist in it, and I hold all of this, as long as I've got a hold of all of these, they're not going to come untwisted, right? But if I let go, the whole thing will come untwisted again, see? So, let's say I do that again. But this time, I put one more twist in there, and I take the end of the balloon, and I tuck it in, and I make a triangle. I don't even have to tie this in a knot. I just got to go around a few times. Now I have enough friction to hold the shape in place. This is something that's going to be important as we're making the balloon snowflake. We're going to use this idea of hooking it back into itself to keeping it from coming undone. But until it gets locked, you've got to hang on to it, or it's going to come untwisted by itself. All right, so this is kind of the format of how when I teach people how to make the snowflake, that I do it. The first thing I do is I go through and I'm going to make it once. And I want you guys at home just to sit on your hands and wait and watch how the whole thing kind of fits together. Then I'm going to stop and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I'm going to do it twice. The second time is when you at home want to follow along. Okay? So the first time that I make it, I'm going to make it out of rainbow colors so you can kind of see how the whole thing fits together. And then the second time that I make it, I'm going to make it all in white like a snowflake. All right, so what we want to do is inflate our balloons. All right, you can use a hand pump like this one right here. All right, a lot of balloon artists have got those. I've also got a floor pump here that's a little bit quicker. That's something that a twister would have. Might not be something that a decorator would have. You might have an electric pump. Anyway, it works. But what we want to do is when we inflate it, we want to go to the point where we have a little bit of this left. See that right there? Okay, so this end right here where the air goes in, this is called the nozzle end. This end right here is called the tail end or the nipple end, right? And we want this tail to be about 2 inches. It's a little longer than you would ordinarily do for something that's only got a few twists in it, but trust me on it, it'll come in handy. So, we're going to need to tie it in a knot. I usually let a little air out, and then I tie it right here. All right. Remember, we're using rainbow colors this first time, but the the finished one that we'll make will be in white. Okay. So I'm going to put this in my armpit. I'm going to get the next color. All of these are going to be the same. Going to have about a 2-inch tail on there. Now this time, I don't need to tie it because I'm going to tie these two together. So we'll put these together. If you're a balloon decorator, this is kind of like a duplet, right? So now that they're tied, the air can't get out. I got the tails on this end. I'm going to set this to the side. All right, and then I'm going to get the next one. I'm going to do the same thing again. My second duplet, if you will. And let's do a third one. Now, if you're a decorator, you may be used to making toppers on columns this way, or you may be used to doing this with rounds. Well, we're going to just kind of twist this whole thing together. And that's going to give us 6. But you see, just like with round balloons, they kind of want to go off in every direction. They don't want to go flat. Now, Snowflake is sort of hexagonal and flat, like this. So to make things easier on us, we're actually going to use a round balloon to push these in the right direction. Now, let me talk for a second about the round balloon. There's a couple different ways to do this, and I'm going to show you each one of them. The first is what a decorator might be used to, which is making a duplet of balloons like this, right here. But because we are going to try to be forcing the balloons out on one plane, you've got to tie these together really, really tight. You want these to be just as tight as you can get. And then we can pop the balloons in like this to get them all on one plane, like that. You see that there? So now they're all coming out in one plane. But to be honest with you, for me, I don't think these are tight enough. You can do it this way if this is what you're used to, but I would actually recommend something different. I would recommend taking a single white balloon, and when you tie it, now I haven't tied it yet. You see there's a little bit of an uninflated area right here. Ordinarily, when you tie it, you would want to tie it like right up on there. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to tie it way up on the end, like this, so that when it's not inflated, we still have a little bit on the top there. And then I'm going to squeeze it, and that gives me a much tighter small duplet. And we can pop that in there. Now, to be honest with you, if this is just going to be facing in one direction, this is going to be fine, right? If it's like up against a wall, this is fine. But what I don't like about that is that a 5-inch round, on this side will give you a nice round bit, but on the back will give you this sort of rectangular shape, I guess. And this is fine if you're not going to see it, right? You could even maybe try to make it smaller, but it's very difficult to get these two exactly the same size. So when I do this at an event, I do something a little bit different. That's the easy way to do it. If that's what you're comfortable with, then that's great. This time I'm going to inflate the balloon. I'm going to tie it way up on the top again, just like before. Just like that. All right, see that? Now, what I'm going to do differently, though, is instead of trying to twist it on this plane, I'm going to twist it on this plane. And this nozzle was going to get all wrapped up in the twist. And what that'll give me is 2 rounds on each side. A little bit of distortion, but not really noticeable, that are the same size. And this is the way I like to do it. I'm going to really lock this in this time. Alright. And because I'm picky, I'm going to get these in chromatic order. Okay, so now we've got the base that we need in order to make our snowflake. And if you notice, I'm actually kind of rotating these so that the curve is kind of working with me, not against me. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to twist this into a snowflake. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to be very careful about the lengths that we use. Now, it doesn't matter the actual length as much as we want all of our lengths to be the same, because we want it to, when it's done, have a hexagonal snowflake look to it. So the first one is length is going to be sort of my model. And I'm going to pick something here. I'm guessing that's probably about 9-10 inches. Oh, I've got a ruler here. Let's see here. This one's about 8 inches actually. 8.5 maybe. Okay, so if you notice, I've twisted it. I've got the twist in there, but I've got to hold it so it can't get loose. I'm holding it on both sides. Now, I'm going to go to my next balloon in order. I'm going to put them up against each other, and I'm going to measure it so that these two are the same length. And I'm going to put a twist in it. This is the same length. Now, I used to tell people to lay all the balloons out on a table and take a Sharpie and draw lines where you're going to put the twists if you're not comfortable twisting. And I don't really like suggesting that anymore, because you can do this without marking them and get the same result in a lot less time. But here's the trick. What we're looking for is to make a triangle. And we want the sides of these 3 triangles to be the same size. And we want the angles on the inside to be about the same. So we want sort of a perfect triangle here. Now, you can twist this before we twist these together, or you can just force it up in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to spin these around. And what that does is it gives us a triangle, right? Now, our goal is to get these triangles as perfect as we can. Now, this was our red one. Now we're going to orange. So we had a red go down and across. So this orange is going down, so now we need the one that goes across. Once again, looking to try to get these triangles as nice and neat and the same as possible right here. You can pre-twist these. Like, for example, I can hold this up to this one right here, measure it, and get these to be about the same length right here. And then I can do the same thing here. I can pre-twist this one once I get it where I want it, or you can just force them together. So we want this to be pretty much, I believe it's called equilateral triangle, right? Okay. Now you're starting to see sort of a wagon wheel developing here. Our red went out and across, our orange went out and across. Now we want the yellow to go, it's out, and now we want to go across. Now here's the trick. Once again, we're going to try to get a nice even triangle. But what we also are looking for more than that is to make sure that this line that goes across here is as straight as it can be. And let me show you why. And I'll show you this in a minute again too, but if this is too short and this is kind of, see how this is curved? The end result will be kind of a bowl as opposed to being flat like a snowflake. So we want this to be in pretty much a straight line. So let's measure the length again here, make sure that looks about right. And then we're going to have the yellow come across, trying to meet it right about where this line can stay straight, right? Because if the line stays straight, then we won't end up with a bowl shape, all right? So now our yellow has gone out and across. We want the blue to go out and across. Once again, I am trying to keep it kind of in a straight line, right? If it's curved, we'll end up with a bowl shape. At this point, I am less worried. Once you get about this far across, I am less worried with trying to get the triangles, all the sides exactly the same, as much as I am worried about keeping this into a straight line. All right? You can see how if you measured these, you could sort of save yourself some of the confusion as you're getting into it. And that's fine, I guess, if you need to, but really, I would recommend for someone who's trying to do this, try it without measuring it, because let's say you have to make 30 of these in order to decorate like a Christmas party or something. That's going to take a lot of extra time. All right, now, on this last one, I'm going to measure it against my first bubble, because you can get a little bit of a variance as you go around, right? All right, and then once again, trying to keep it in a perfectly straight line. There we go. And now this one is the last one. This one's a little bit different. This is where I can really demonstrate the bowl thing. If I've been making them too short all the way around, then I end up with this sort of bowl shape here. If it make it too long, you'll end up with this sort of wavy, wonky thing. So the trick is to get this as perfectly flat as you can. And this is really this last one is really your chance to do that. So what you'll do is you'll kind of line it up, you'll put a twist in it, but of course I can't weave it like I did the other ones. It's got to go through the triangle, and you pull it through, and then snap it into place. Now once again, if you are not a twister, and you've never done this before, you're not trying to do it this first time, you're just trying to watch and see how it's done. It's the second one where I want you to try to do it along with me. Alright? Now you can see that this is how you could make a wagon wheel, or I don't know, all kinds of different things. A car wheel, something like that. Alright, so we want to turn this into a snowflake. This next part is easy, because we've got these little tails here. See? Tails? Alright, so I'm going to grab it by the tail, and I'm going to tuck that tail into the wheel right here, and then to lock it in place, I just put my hand in here and I spin it a few times. And that gives me a nice cute loop. Alright, and then I'm just going to go around and do the same thing 5 more times. Hide your tail in the balloon there a little bit. Now, of course, it looks kind of funny as a rainbow. When we make these, it'll be all, for an event, be all white, right? Some of them, I don't know, may like it like this. This is really balloon weaving at a very, very basic level. And we're simulcasting on both Facebook Live and Periscope. So hello to everybody who's watching. And then you might get some of these that are a little bit wonky. All you got to do is just kind of straighten them out. You can have, if you want to hang this from the ceiling, you can do monofilament from here, or even from here. And that's what you get. You end up with this nice, pretty snowflake. Now, this is where you guys at home are going to work along with me. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 6 260s in white, and you're going to need a 5-inch round. So grab your materials, and we're going to give this a shot. Let me set this out of the way here. Now, it's going to be a little harder for us when the whole thing's in white. It's going to be a little harder to see, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through that. Oh, hey, April. Glad you could join us. All right. Going to do the same thing as before, but all white. right. So I have my 6 duplets, just like before, tied end to end, like this. See? We're going to grab the whole thing, and we're going to twist. Like I said before, this will end up going off in all kinds of different directions without our white round balloon. Okay? So let me grab a white round balloon. We're going to do this like before. We're going to fill this up. We're going to leave a little bit of uninflated balloon on the top. Tie that in a knot. And we end up with this sort of strange little shape right there. And then we are going to grab it, not this way, but this way. This little bit of uninflated balloon gives the air somewhere to go so that the balloon doesn't pop when you twist it. Just like that. If you end up with a little bit of this sticking out, you can just kind of go around a few times with it. Alright. I'm going to pop this in. Go around a couple times so it's really locked in. And you can see already how this is going to be harder than the rainbow one, right? Because with the rainbow one, it was real easy to see where we were. The red goes out, then goes to the side, and then makes a loop, right? And you can see that with each one of these, out to the side and with a loop. But with the white one, it's going to be harder. We can't see where we're at. So we're going to have to be very, very careful as we're doing this. So I'm going to try to straighten this out so that I've got them kind of all going out in as evenly as possible, right? Nice. I'm hitting the ceiling a little bit here. All right, like that. Okay, so I'm going to pick my distance. And remember, no two snowflakes are alike. So it doesn't matter that this looks exactly like the other one. You want to, if you have like a whole ceiling full of these, you would want to vary them a little bit. And that's another disadvantage to pre-measuring everything, is then all of them would be looking like you're trying to get them exactly the same. Alright, so I've got my first twist. I'm going to measure the second one to make sure that it's the same length, like that, so the twist is at the same spot. And then remember what I'm doing. I'm going across, and I'm trying to make as equal of a triangle as I can. I want it to be these 3 parts of the triangle right here to be as close as I can. And now, because it's not a rainbow balloon, I've got a problem. This is what I wanted to show you guys. Look at this. So now, I've got 2 pieces coming out, right? But, unlike before where they were color-coded, I've got to really look at it to see which one that I want to use. I'm going to get as far back as I can. So look, one of them is longer than the other. So it's the longer of the 2 that we want to use. If I were to use this one, I would run out of balloon by the end and it would look all janky. Alright? So let's measure again. Looking to get as equal of a triangle as I can. I want to make sure that the triangle is made out of the longer of the 2 balloons coming out of the end of this triangle. Right? Just like so. Alright, and once again, I have 2 balloons coming out of here. One is longer than the other. Let's see if I can get you showing there. So this is the one that I want to use to go across. After the first 2 triangles are made, I am more focused in on trying to get this to be as straight a line as I can. So we're going to get this as straight as we can. There we go. So that we end up with a flat snowflake instead of a bowl-shaped snowflake. I'm doing the same thing again here. I'm trying to get this as straight as I can. We want this line through here to be as straight as we can make it. There we go. Grabbing the longer of the 2 balloons again. Remember on this last one, this is where I came over here and I would measure it against the first one. And make sure I have the longer of the 2. Looking to make a straight line through again. Let's see here. That would put that right about here. And the last one, and this is where you can make or break yourself on whether or not it ends up bowl-shaped. So let's see here. Right about here. we go. Got a little bit of a bowl shape, but not too bad. Kind of fuss with it a little bit. Alright, there we go. Alright, so you're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to grab the tail end. You want to tuck it in here, and you want to tuck it in here pretty tight. You don't want to have like a bunch of this left over here. Just pull it up on in there. Get it up in there tight, and then spin it around a few times. And you want to kind of fuss with it a little bit, make sure everything looks as neat as you can make it. But snowflakes are kind of natural occurrences. They're not perfect themselves, so a little bit of variation is actually a bit charming in this case. Alright, so let me kind of straighten this thing out. Now that it's all put together. There we go. There's our snowflake. If you get one that's kind of twisted, you can just kind of mess with it a little bit and straighten it out. There you go. Alright, so now that I've shown you this one, I want to show you a couple variations. So this is made with a balloon that's called a 260, which is 2 inches across, 60 inches long. But you don't have to do them that way. You can make them out of a 3-inch balloon. This is 360s. These are metallic 360s. Qualitex also makes a 3-inch balloon, but it is a 350. It's not as long, and you don't have as much balloon to work with, so these loops wouldn't be able to be as big. But you can see, here, I'll put them side by side so you can see them side by side. You can see they have very different looks to them, right? If I was doing if I was decorating at an event, this is the same amount of work as this, but this fills up a little more space and is a little more visible. Though this does have kind of a cute, like a sort of spindly look to it, so it's really what you're looking for. This would look better maybe on top of a column than this would, right? You could even make them out of bigger balloons if you wanted to, but then they would be enormous. So you have to use several balloons for each one in the design. So this is what it looks like in a 3-inch balloon. Now bear in mind, you know, a snowflake is something that is stereotypically variable, right? Like, you know, if somebody says that I'm a snowflake, what they mean is that I'm unique, right? Well, you know, they don't all have to be the same color. What if you were to make one in blue? Look at that. Same design, but in blue. You can also vary and make them very, very small in the middle, right? And you don't have to do a loop on the outside. This is the easiest thing that I can think of, and so I think it's a good one to start with. But you don't have to do that even. You can do all kinds of different stuff. Here's one in clear, right? And I did a completely different thing on the outside. It just did like a little cross shape to it. And I think they look great in clear. Though it just kind of depends on what you're doing. Something like this may not look great on top of a column, for example, just because it just doesn't have that sense of space to it. And you'll notice that I've also added little decorative 5-inch rounds in here just to kind of pack it and make it a little more rigid. So you can see that you've got a lot of different options. So so play with it and make every single one of them different if you can. And so that's how you get started. So please follow me on Facebook and on Periscope so that you can see when I do more videos and check them out. Thanks for watching my video, and you can find my website at partytillypop.com. Thank you very much. Have a great day.